this month, our theme for Ireland AM Camera Club is My Ireland.
Today I'm drawing my inspiration from the 1916 Rising, and I've decided to take a tour to hear more about it. Ailish and John, both actors here in the tour bus, have volunteered to be my models for shooting today's portraits. When shooting portraits, it's all about your aperture and whether or not you want your background in or out of focus.
So we're outside the gates of Dublin Castle, and I'm going to focus on a shallow depth of field now with my portrait. So I want Ailish in focus and I'm going to blur out the background. So I'm going to use a nice shallow depth of field here. I'm going to set my camera to aperture 2.8, and what that will do for me is it will open up my lens really nice and large, and it's going to blur out my background, so just Ailish is going to be in focus here. So Ailish, if you just look straight into the camera again, yeah, and chin slightly down, fantastic.
When taking a portrait at a picturesque setting such as a seascape or an iconic building like the GPO, you might want to incorporate the background into your photo as much as your subject.
So we're outside the GPO, and for this shot I want to use an extensive depth of field on my camera. So I'm going to close down the aperture because I want to be able to get the GPO in the background, and I also want John in focus too. So I'm going to use maybe an f-stop, which is an aperture 10 or 11, and that way it'll give me everything in focus. So here we go, John. So John, just looking straight into the camera. Fantastic. That's it. And if you turn slightly this way to me, yeah, perfect. Excellent. Lovely. Yeah, that's perfect.
Often portraiture is not posed and can just be documenting the person in action.
Very often the unposed portrait can capture a moment and tell a story. A couple of things though to bear in mind when you're doing this. Try to make sure that the person has stopped speaking so you don't get an odd facial expression. And use a long lens if you can. So I'm going to use a long lens now and see what I can get.
For portraits, light is everything. The ideal light is diffused natural daylight, so an overcast day just like today is absolutely perfect. So whether you want everything in focus or just your subject, make sure you set your aperture to the setting you want before changing your ISO and shutter speed. Log on to tv3.ie/camera club for details on how you can enter this month's Camera Club.